What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Toby. I do random things. And today we are reading part 5 of journal number 3. Let's get started. Now, where we left off, quite a bit happened in part 4. So, I recommend you check it out, but I will give you a brief summary. They finished the portal, but the portal test was a disaster. And F quit, and we found out that the author's muse was really evil, an evil triangle guy named Bill Cipher, and the author hid all of his journals, and that was that. And then there's a couple blank pages before we get to entirely new writing that is in blue pen. So, let's read it. June 1st. Hey there, my name is Dipper Pines, and from now on, I'll be the one writing in this book. You're probably wondering how a normal kid like me wound up with one of the most amazing books of all time. Well, it wasn't on my summer reading list. The truth is, I found it on total accident. At first, this old thing was covered in centipedes and dust and smelled worse than my grunkle Stan, more on him later. But once I blow-dried all the moths out, I began to look through the sucker, and I've been obsessed ever since. To be honest, no one in this town really gets me. My weird money-grubbing great-uncle just sees me as a cheap labor, my sister is going through a boy-crazy phase, and the shack employees just gossip to each other all day. No one believes in me, but from the moment I've arrived, I felt like there's some conspiracy going on in this town. Whoever this author is, he's the only person who ever learned the truth about this place. I vow to follow in the previous author's footsteps, unravel the mysteries of the strange town, and answer the ultimate mystery. Who is the author? After Grunkle Stan's done making me hose off the sass crotch, of course. But before I begin, I should tell you a little bit about myself. Meet your new author. Name, Dipper Pines. Age, 12, but I'll be 13 by the end of the summer. Home, Piedmont, California. Nice place, very boring. Interests of video games, the paranormal, photography. Siblings, my twin sister Mabel. Imagine me with girl hair and about 1,000 pounds of sugar injected into my bloodstream. Can be a real friend when she's not doing one of her bits. She's smarter than people give her credit for, and often acts the way she does just to drive me insane. Distinguishing feature, a weird birthmark that looks like the Big Dipper, hence my nickname. Mom once said that it meant I was destined for greatness. Grunkle Stan said it looked like someone spilled hot sauce on my face. Note to self, never show him this journal. June 3rd. If you go on enough road trips, chances are you've seen a certain bumper sticker for The Mystery Shack. It refers to the Mystery Shack is my great-uncle's cabin in the woods. He's transformed his house into a tourist trap filled with phony exhibits like the Six-Packalope and the Unicorpse, don't ask. None of that stuff is as weird as my sister's new boyfriend, though. He smells like roadkill and never blinks. I think I've found my first mystery to investigate, and this book will be my guide. If this guy isn't a zombie, I'll eat my hat. Update. He wasn't a zombie, and I can't eat my hat because it was already eaten by a gnome. Mabel and I fought an army of real gnomes that were posing as her boyfriend. It was terrifying, but amazing. Finally back safe and sound from one of the weirdest days in Gravity Falls. This journal told me there was no one in Gravity Falls I could trust. But when you battle 100 gnomes side by side with someone, you realize that they've probably always got your back. Grunkle Stan told us there is nothing strange about this town, but who knows what other secrets are waiting to be unlocked. This is Dipper Pines signing off for the night. I've always dreamed of seeing the Loch Ness Monster in person, and this local legend was the next best thing. I didn't exactly get a photograph, but here's a very realistic drawing of the local lake monster they call the Gobblewonker. Mouth for gobbling, long neck for wonking, makes a call that sounds like a beaver with a chainsaw. These enormous flippers move so fast you'd think this creature has a motor. That's because it does have a motor. It turned out to be fake, but still we did catch it. And from inside it came the real catch of the day, Old Man McGucket. There's definitely something suspicious about this dude. But I can't tell if he knows more than he lets on or less than he lets on. I wonder if the author ever had to deal with strange locals like this guy. June 7th, something extra weird happened today at the grand unveiling of Stan's Wax Museum of Mystery. I think I might have seen a ghost. Stan was telling some of his corny jokes and getting the standard audience reaction, dead silence, when I spotted a strange figure at the back of the crowd. He was bald and very pale, mostly gray and white. He was holding something in his hand, but I couldn't make it out. He suddenly ran towards the forest. There was a flash of light, and he was gone. There is a large section on ghosts in here that I need to read ASAP. I need to be prepared in case it happens again. June 8th. Okay, this town just gets weirder and weirder. Now someone has decapitated the wax figure that Mabel made of Stan. Who would want to do that? A jealous local artist? An axe murderer with poor eyesight? Some cursed living wax figure? No, the idea of living wax figures is really dumb. I need to treat this like a real investigation. June 9th. We solved the case. It was a group of living wax figures. I sword fought an unholy British maniac on the roof and would have lost it if the sun hadn't come up at the right time. Also in the group were Wax Nixon, Wax Coolio, and some old wax man with suspenders who makes me shudder just to think about. I'm going to be sleeping with a fireplace poker under my bed from now on. June 10th. It's 2 a.m. and I'm giving up. There's no way to trap this thing. I don't understand how it can move so fast without so many legs. Wow, I read that wrong. I don't understand how fast it can move so fast without any legs. Okay, I'm tired of being unclear. Let me start again. This is Dipper Pines officially starting over. It started right around lunch. Mabel and I had finished disposing of the wax figures. There was a lot of melting involved. On the bright side, Mabel has some lumpy new crayons to draw with. We were watching TV and eating some of her world-famous peanut butter and whatever else is in the fridge sandwiches when I heard something in the walls. A familiar voice came through the vent, mumbling about an exclusive interview with a possum that was coming up next. That's when I knew that something wax had survived. I tried to convince Mabel to join me in finding it, but she was busy trying out her new crayon set. She invented a new color called Blorane Gurple while watching Dream Boy High 2, Kraz and Zyler's excellent adventure, so I knew she was lost. I knew that I was on my own. I needed to go into the air conditioning vents, but I wasn't going in unprepared. I said goodbye to Mabel and jumped into the living room vent. The glow from the television quickly faded as I shimmied down the duct. I turned on my flashlight and was stunned to see a maze of corridors. I could hear the creature's voice coming from above and to the left, saying, "They took me out of Brooklyn, but they couldn't take Brooklyn out of me." I followed it, dropping bits of bread from my sandwich so I wouldn't get lost. The duct got really narrow, but I was able to make it through. Just as I reached the top, I dropped the flashlight down the hole. I was left in complete darkness. I heard the creature again. It was much closer, saying, "Do blue-eyed people see better?" What was that supposed to mean? Was he taunting me? Could he somehow see in the dark? I crawled blindly towards the voice, dropping more breadcrumbs as I went. As I came around the corner, I could see the shape of the disembodied wax head of the suspenders man. I was unprepared for what came next. As I swiped at it with my net, the head somehow jumped out of the way. I fell forward and landed hard on my elbow. The head mocked me. "There is nothing funny about the funny bone." I swiped at it again, but it came rolling at me like a bowling ball and knocked the net out of my hands. It rolled into the far corner, turned, and came at me again. I got tangled up in my rope and covered in peanut butter from my sandwich and ended up stuck in the bottom of a narrow duct. From above me, I heard, "Have a great week, everybody. Good night." And then the victorious head hopped away. It took me several hours to untangle myself and crawl back out into the living room. I'm going to sleep right here in Uncle Stan's chair. The next day. It's 10 a.m. and I have been woken up by the joyful conversation between Mabel and the disembodied head. Apparently, the way to tame the thing is to let it interview you. I'm going to shower and wash off all this peanut butter. I could use a day from all these paranormal creeps. Next page. This creep, wow, we're already talking about creeps again. All right. This creep is named Gideon Gleeful, and he runs a rival tourist trap called the Tent of Telepathy. He's a fake, just like my grunkle, but he's way more dangerous because people actually find him charming, including my sister Mabel. It's the classic story. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy tries to murder girl's brother. Obviously, we defeated him. He swore eternal revenge on us or something like that. But seriously, how scared should we be of the world's palest 10-year-old? Forgetting his name now, and this is what he looks like. Here's a name I won't forget anytime soon. The name is Wendy Corduroy. Mabel and I both agree she's the coolest person in town. She lets me ride Stan's golf cart and sneaks us ice cream and sandwiches without paying for them. She's also really confident. Even Stan is scared of her. Sue says she's the lumberjack's daughter and supposedly can climb and or chop anything. But mostly I just see her looking for ways to get out of work. She also tried giving Mabel advice about not getting so many dumb crushes, which I really appreciate. Crushes are a waste of time. That's why I never have them. Nope, never. Not once. And this is what Wendy looks like. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there we go. Alright. June 14th. Just got back from an incredible adventure at a haunted convenience store. I fought these two ghosts and beat them single-handedly. Not really anything noteworthy about how they were defeated. But Wendy and her teen friends were all really impressed. Nothing to write about Wendy either. I mean, what would I write, you know? Okay, I'm done writing. June 18th. Okay, so remember that uncrackable historical document that the author puzzled over? That was in part 1. Well, Mabel's silliness accidentally solved it, and it led us to discover that the town was actually founded by Quentin Tremblay, the 8th President of the United States. A man so silly that they tried to erase him from history. Observations. Haircut by his third wife Sandy, she was a woodpecker. Described his measurements as being 14 stacking turtles in height and 40 Blevin tremble quarts in diameter. No idea what that means. Shouts the word America every 3 minutes on the minute, regardless of context. Never wears pants because that's what the redcoats would be expecting. I bet Grunkle Stan would have voted for this guy. How do we know that he was the president? He told us himself. He kept himself alive for 150 years by encasing his body in peanut brittle, which apparently works, although it doesn't make you smell too awesome, believe me. As strange as Quentin is, he was a really nice guy, and was very grateful that we helped him escape, and didn't judge him for his radical theories about Irishmen. To show his gratitude, he made Mabel a congressman, it's already gone to her head, and gave me this. The President's Key. It can open any lock in America made before 1877. It's made from a melted piece of the Liberty Bell. Quentin used it to constantly barge in on Andrew Jackson while he was dressing. Andrew Jackson hated this. She tried to shoot Quentin Tremblay on 14 different occasions. Can supposedly unlock an eagle. I don't even want to know what this means. There's so many things I could do with this. Thinking of ransacking the Gravity Falls History Museum later. Oh, I skipped something. Hold on. Blubs and Derlin told us to keep the details of our adventure. Oh, by the way, I actually don't know who Blubs and Derlin are. This book doesn't mention them too often. Blubs and Derlin told us to keep the details of our adventure with Quentin Tremblay to ourselves, but we had to tell somebody, and Sue seemed like a safe bet. Boy, were we wrong. This morning, Mabel and I came downstairs and found Seuss sleeping in a giant tub of peanut brittle in the middle of the living room. He was trying to preserve himself so he could check out the distant future. He had a straw sticking out of the peanut brittle so he could breathe, and illustrations of how he thought future technology would look. Mabel saw a great opportunity for a prank. First, we ransacked the gift shop for some cardboard boxes, and then used up all of Grunkle Stan's tinfoil. Bam! Perfect future costumes. Next, we taped together some goat hair for a Rip Van Winkle beard to put on Seuss. Then we started Stan's fog machine, turned the lights out, and threw a couple of flashing yo-yos behind the couch and hit the alarm clock. Seuss awoke with a start, and Mabel chanted, "Beep-bop! Welcome to the future, past man! It is the year 11 billion! Tell us your ways of the past!" I told him he had awoken from mega sleep. The cyborg people of Earth were losing Plasma War 5 to the Venusian Amphibian Alliance. I called him the one calculated to save us, and asked him to help us win the war against Great Admiral Laserface. Seuss bought it hard. He was ready to join the battle till he stepped into the hallway and saw his reflection in the mirror. He knew right away that the beard was glued on. Apparently, Seuss is unable to grow facial hair. The few hairs he has normally on his chin are glued on by him. We spent the rest of the afternoon watching Return Backwards to the Past Again 3 and eating peanut brittle. It's too bad time travel isn't actually real. Update. Time travel actually is real. Remember the bald ghost I kept seeing? It turns out he was the world's worst time traveler. He said his name was Blended, and he was as weird as he looks. He came from the year 2070-12 to fix time anomalies, but I think he ended up causing them instead with his time tape. I wish I had held on to this gadget. I wonder if I can make my own. Rumble McSkirmish. A superpower ninja turbo neo ultra hyper mega multi alpha meta extra uber prefix nightmare. Quite the mouthful. Say that 2 times fast. Okay, so, long story, but I kinda conjured my favorite arcade game character into the real world to try to be my bodyguard. But instead of guarding my body, he punched it to a pulp. Turns out the only way to win is to let him beat you. Turns out the only way to beat him is to let him beat you. I'm sorry, I can't read today. Then the game resets. I may need to reset my spine after today. Says his name is short for Rumble Fracas Melee Fisticuff Slapfight McSkirmish. And he looks like this. The Summerween Trickster, who looks like this. The scariest and goofiest monster we've encountered so far. And that kid isn't just there for scale. We saw the trickster swallow him whole. I ticked him off for not having enough enthusiasm about a made-up local holiday called Summerween, and he almost destroyed us. We chased him around all night, and after that, he revealed his true nature to us. The guy's made of loser candy, which is like off-brand candy. Like 30 years of loser candy, and all he ever wanted was for someone to eat him. The scariest thing I saw in Summerween was Seuss actually eating the Summerween trickster. July 6th. What a day! Stan made a bet with Mabel, and she's been left in charge of the Mystery Shack. Ridiculous, but true. She asked me to find a legit attraction for Grunkle Stan's tour, and I did. I went to a spooky-looking part of the forest and built one of those tiger traps. It wasn't long before I caught something. Only one small hiccup. I didn't dig the hole deep enough. I thought I'd catch a gnome or troll. The biggest I'd planned for was about werewolf size. I never have guessed that I'd catch the very beast that almost defeated the author, the Gremloblin. I slowly lowered my sack over its enormous head, and the monster immediately fell asleep. I've seen Stan use this trick on Seuss too. Put a blanket over Seuss's eyes, and he instantly falls asleep like a parakeet. I tied one end of a rope around the sack and the other to the back of the golf cart. I dragged it out of the hole and back to the shack. While hunting for Mabel's pig who ran away, we found something real crazy but true. I saw this all with my own eyes. What is it? A dinosaur cavern. Real-life dinosaurs, preserved for millions of years in tree sap. They may escape if the temperature rises. We're back from perhaps the craziest, scariest adventure yet. A trip inside Grunkle Stan's mind. We finally encountered Bill Cipher, the strange triangular brain demon mentioned in the journal, although many passages that seem to reference him are incomplete or ripped out. He was trying to steal a code in Grunkle Stan's brain, and we had to rummage through hundreds of Stan's thoughts to stop him. Some of the stray memories I saw in there that I didn't mention to Mabel are Stan's bar mitzvah at the age of 12, Grunkle Stan's celebrating his birthday by watching Cash Wheel in a hotel. Grunkle Stan getting married? Apparently, he wedded a waitress named Marilyn Rosenstein in Las Vegas for 48 hours. But it turned out she was just trying to steal his car. A true scam artist. Maybe she was the right one for him. The most important memory was one where Stan revealed he actually cares about me. When I discovered that, it was the boost I needed to take down Bill for good. It turns out that in the dreamscape, you can become anything you want. Me and Mabel decided we wanted to become awesome. Doo-doo-doo-doo. We sent Bill packing to wherever he came from and finally managed to escape back to reality. Unfortunately, reality turned out to be much less fun than the dream world. While we were busy in Stan's brain, Gideon somehow got control of the shack. We have to crash with Seuss and his grandma tonight. Too tired to write much more. Going into someone else's dreams doesn't mean you get to sleep. We'll come up with a plan to get back the shack tomorrow. I'm sure Stan has a sneaky plot up his sleeve. Oh my gosh, I'm still catching my breath from the whirlwind adventure of the past few days. Gideon almost beat us, but then he screwed it all up in true supervillain style with a giant robot. The Gideon bot. Finally, a version of Gideon as big as his ego. Gideon controlled it from inside the head. He wore the stupid black skin-tight onesie covered with ping pong balls. McGucket built it. I guess he'll invent stuff for anyone who'll hang out with him. Still can't tell if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Everything's back to normal now. Actually, it's better than normal. Gideon's in jail, and everyone is in love with the Pines family. We were even interviewed by Chandra Jimenez on Good Morning, Gravity Falls. Stan spent the whole time stealing shrimp from the craft services table. Everyone seems happy. Everyone but me. Half the summer is gone, and I'm no closer to figuring out the big mysteries of Gravity Falls. Gideon wanted this journal so badly that he risked everything to get it. Why? I have no idea. He asked about Journal 1. From what I've read, there are 2 more journals, but where are they? I have no idea. What happened to the author? Is he still alive? Why are so many pages burned and ruined? I have no idea. I'm running out of time to figure this out. No more fooling around. If I'm ever going to get to the bottom of all this, I need to find out what happened to the author. Time to get serious. Right here, right now. Thank you all for watching. If you heard any, creaking noises, it's my chair. We need to put some WD-40 on it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will be reading part 6 in the future, so stay tuned. If you haven't seen the whole series, check it out. It's in a playlist called Urban Core Lore, which I will talk about more in another video. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.